Well, hi everybody, I'm Bill Whittle. You know, the mythology of America today, our national idea of who we are, is not chiseled into marble or scratched in ink on parchment. No, it comes to us in dark rooms, in flickering images on a silver screen or on glowing pixels in our living rooms. And that vision of who and what we are as a people has changed dramatically in the last 40 years, and not for the better, I'm afraid. Now, back in 1962, old school Hollywood made a film called The Manchurian Candidate. It starred Frank Sinatra and was about a captured U.S. serviceman brainwashed by the Chinese to assassinate the president. And the bad guys? Well, they were the Red Chinese, obviously. That's why he was called The Manchurian Candidate. Now, in 2004, the new Hollywood remade The Manchurian Candidate, this time with Denzel Washington. But one small change. This time, the bad guys were not the Chinese. Now, that would offend them, you see, and we wouldn't make as much money. This time, the people doing the brainwashing were the Manchurian Corporation. American businessmen, basically. You know, everything I know about the Vietnam War, I learned from men like Francis Ford Coppola and Oliver Stone. From them, I learned that Vietnam was an unwinnable quagmire fought by drug-addled psychopaths, serially murdering innocent villagers just for fun. Hollywood today has made at least a dozen movies about the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and in just about every one of them, our soldiers are portrayed as psychopathic murderers and rapists, or merely ignorant rubes and hicks, too stupid and uneducated to do any better than a life in the military. You know who the reliable standby enemy is in Hollywood films today? You are. If you're pro-business, pro-military, pro-Christian, and for limited government and individual rights and responsibilities, then you and everything you believe are the enemy of Hollywood films today, and they are determined to brainwash the entire country into believing it regardless of how much money they have to lose at the box office in order to do so. It's just that simple. So, what can we do about it? How can we fight back against such a massive wall of disinformation? Well, here's one way. Take a look.
What is Declaration Entertainment? Declaration Entertainment is more than a movie company. It's a movement that turns you, the audience, into producers with your own voice in making the kinds of movies you want to see. To understand how, you first have to understand why. And that is going to take us on a little trip. A trip to the most fabulous place on earth, Hollywood. Years ago, Hollywood was a place where the American dream was coming true every day. People from all over the country would flock to Tinseltown, hoping to make it big, telling the kinds of stories that made them dreamers in the first place. Stories about freedom and sacrifice, about hard work and self-reliance, about faith and family. Stories about America, not just the place, but the values that made this country what it is. Of course, not only Americans watch these movies, the whole world loved them. Hollywood spread American values all over the globe. Then, something changed. Hollywood began making fewer and fewer movies about what makes America good, and more movies about America being, well, bad, greedy and imperialistic, godless and broken. Instead of broadcasting American values to the world, they began to preach a new value system to America. That left many people wondering, how did this happen? Well, it all starts with the money. In the past, American movies were paid for by Americans. American-owned studios spending American capital made movies about things Americans cared about. Sure, the movies were sold overseas, but that was just the upside. A place to make more money. Today's Hollywood is a much different place. Today, big studios owned by multinational corporations produce movies using capital from all over the world. And most movies aren't even produced by the studios at all. Instead, independent producers finance their movies using complex strategies based largely on foreign pre-sales. Pre-sales are when a foreign distributor buys the right to air the movie in their territory before the movie's ever made. So instead of making American movies and then selling them to the world, modern Hollywood makes the world's movies and sells them to Americans. It should be no surprise that the values that make it to the screen are very different than the ones Americans are used to seeing. Enter Declaration Entertainment. Declaration Entertainment is dedicated to making the kind of movies Hollywood used to make. No more anti-heroes standing up against tradition, but Good guys fighting bad guys. And not greedy businessmen and CIA agent bad guys. Actual bad guys like communists and terrorists and evil robots. How? When you become a member of Declaration Entertainment, you gain access to an unbelievable online community that will take you behind the scenes to watch every aspect of your movies as they're being made for you. You'll see script excerpts and storyboards, casting sessions and stunts. You'll have the opportunity to participate in online interviews with the actors and writers and directors, and even to win chances to appear in the movies themselves. And you'll be able to interact not only with the other members of the online community, but with the filmmakers themselves, letting us know what you want to see. Plus, you'll get a copy of every movie Declaration Entertainment makes. So, how do these pro-American movies get funded? That's the most amazing part. Your membership fees will be placed into a production fund. As members join, the funds fill with money, and when there's enough money in the fund, a movie gets made. But the fund keeps filling month after month, which means we keep making movie after movie after movie after movie. In this way, Declaration citizens are not just responsible for making one film, but an endless string of movies that Hollywood simply will not make. Every time one of these movies is finished, it will be released into the culture at home and abroad, helping to stem the tide of anti-Americanism and promote our shared values to everyone, just like Hollywood used to do. The best part is, you don't have to wait for some politician or big corporation to start representing your values again. You can join the new American Revolution and take back your culture. For less than $10 a month, you can declare your independence from Hollywood. Join us today and help make the movies you want to see.
Now, just to be clear, Declaration Entertainment is not another production company. Declaration Entertainment is a movement. It's a revolution. It's a way to put the power of the message, our American mythology, back into the hands of the American people, where it belongs. You see, I've been to flyover country. I've been to Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been to Provo, Utah, and Indianapolis, Indiana. I've been with our soldiers and sailors, our airmen and Marines and Coast Guardsmen, both here in America and deployed overseas. And the one thing I know beyond any doubt whatsoever is that the heart of America is not only fundamentally sound, it is, in fact, indestructible. No matter how hard the corrosive forces of anti-Americanism try to convince us otherwise, we know in the heart of America that we are, in fact, the last, best hope of Earth. My friends, the fight for the soul of America is not in Washington, it's in Hollywood. Politics is downstream of culture. People vote based not on what they know, but on how they feel. And how they feel about America is determined almost exclusively by the stories and values they see in movies and on television. So we here at Declaration Entertainment are trying to change the stories that people see in movies and on television. And if you think that's a fight worth being in, well, we could use your help.